This is the picture from the Seven Fells area where we are based, and these colors are really true. This is from and during the polar night. So that's when the sun doesn't really rise, but you can get these really soft lights. And I'm going to show you a lot more photos showing a little bit of each season. So you get a sort of an overall picture of Lapland and the Arctic areas at the same time. But I just wanted to say a little bit before we get going. So yeah, my background is in stage races and events in general. So I'm used to having to look after 100 to 500 people and make sure everyone's safe and also take care of the little details. And so I think you'll be in good hands, and because of the background I'd had, that's why I also founded the Arctic Escapade. So as a person, I run these experiences in Lapland for 6 years now, and as a company, we're starting our third winter season at the moment. And the reason why I started was that I lived in Asia for 15 years. Some of my friends here are also on the call, and I traveled around the world in a lot of the remote corners, organizing and delivering these stage events. And then I returned to Finland just before COVID, and I sort of looked around, and I was quite mesmerized just, how my own country looked to me. So I was seeing things through these sort of purple lenses, and I just wanted to share that with the visitors from all around the world. So this is kind of my story. I'll hope to speak briefly, but this is just the first one of these info sessions, and it's purposely a bit general still. And whatever I think most of you are wanting to do the Finland Arctic Challenge, but even if you've got some other plans, or even if you just want to, do come to Lapland some point in the future, I think this is still useful information. And we'll record this, and you can ask for a copy as well later on. So here's what we'll talk a little bit today. Lappi, you can probably guess what is Lappi, Lapland in Finnish, and just an overview of things, and then you'll have a chance to ask questions anytime, actually. This is our team. I work with these people. They are most of them are locals from Lapland. Roberto is there as well, actually. And we really want to deliver authentic experiences, and therefore I like to say we work with best people who really know the backyard where we are, and also know the weather. So when things get above -30, they're just starting to feel comfortable. Here's Lapland. So it's definitely the largest wilderness in Europe, and I'd like to say that it's the only true one, really, up in that part of the world. So the Arctic Circle, where some of you have been, is 66 degrees north, and where we're going to be, where I am based in wintertime, is 67 degrees north. So we're about 200 kilometers above the Arctic Circle. And we have 8 seasons, and already the wintertime, I could say we have 3 different looking winters. The climate change is trying to mix that a little bit up. Often means that the temperatures go up and down in a way that it didn't used to. But even so, I still think it's that part of the world where you can really still experience winter compared to a lot of other places. And between the summer and winter, the temperatures really do range. These days we get quite hot summers as well, but only for a short period, and it can be very cold. But most of the time, winters are between 0 and -25. Here's the local life. So just a couple of pictures. The 2 photos above, you can see how we go to school, for instance, by cross-country skiing and using these kick sleighs, and they're quite handy. And you can do all kinds of practical things with them. But then we also use them for sport. The picture below is from reindeer separation. So reindeer herding is a livelihood of both the Lappish people and the Sami people. And the Sami tribe is the indigenous tribe of Lapland, but it's also the only indigenous tribe in the whole of EU and Europe. So they're very unique people. And they have the right to do reindeer herding as a profession, as well as those who locally live in Lapland. The separation is about separating the reindeer that will go to meet and those who will live for another season. So it's very much their livelihood. Reindeer meat for us is not like available in huge quantities. It's still a rare thing, at least for the rest of the country, but it is available. And then hunting wise, we don't do mass hunting. If you go hunting, you often go by skis. And this is willow grouse hunting that this man and his dog are doing. Here you can see our seasons. So we have 8 seasons. In south of Finland, you can say we got 4, but in the north, because of the Arctic location, the seasons are really distinct. And at the moment, we're leaving the time between harvest, where we're picking up foraging mushrooms and berries, which, by the way, you can do anywhere as well if you come to Finland. We have the right to use anyone's land for foraging. So we're leaving the time between the harvest and moving on to ruska, which means autumn foliage. And you can see pictures of the 3 winter seasons, actually almost 4, which I'll cover a little bit more. But I wanted to, because you probably have questions about Northern Lights, or at least I get a lot of questions. So I just wanted to explain a little bit. So the time when you come to Finland, the chances are high for seeing them. And so basically what they are like energized particles from sun, and they slam into Earth atmosphere. And whilst they do that, they do it at a great speed, which then creates this light phenomenon. Yeah. And it's the magnetic poles that basically pull these particles and the light towards the poles. So therefore you can see these near the North Pole and near the South Pole, but not so often, not usually in southern part of Europe. So basically anywhere above the Arctic Circle, your chances are quite high. And you need to just have dark time of the year to be able to see them. So basically pretty much from now and all the way till middle of April, you can see them. And it's never guaranteed, obviously. So we've got to have the solar activity to match with the weather. So if it's cloudy, you're not going to be able to see them. And sometimes people want to come for 3 days and absolutely see them. And obviously that's not going to never be certain. So we never really promise them, but if you can see them, it's a bonus. And the harder you work to see them, like going for a hot night hike in the evening is a really good way, because then you're out there all the time. If you're trying to watch TV like my parents do and then put their head out every now and then, it's probably not going to work. And if you don't get Northern Lights, then this doesn't look too bad either. So we have snow, it's white, and a little bit of stars and light is really quite special. Okay, so here you can see some typical pictures of the polar night season. So the sun doesn't rise, it's just below the horizon. But I would say this is perhaps the most stunning, like impactful time of the year if you haven't been to the north. It's cold, but I'd say the colder it is, the more beautiful it is. And when we have cold, it's dry, so it's actually more comfortable than what you may be used to on a seaside. Usually lots of powdery snow, and so it's just really quite unique. The pictures on the right side are just from my porch, and that's the morning is the pink lights, which a bit later turn into really beautiful blue. And then again at night we had the northern lights. And then as a contrast, this is we call it snow crust season. So moving on to spring, March, April, and early May we have really long days. Actually, we're already beating the central part of Europe with the daylight, and it's milder. So Rafik, I think could you unmute yourself? Oh, sorry, mute yourself. I think you're coming through a little bit. Yeah, anyway, so longer days, so we typically head out to do cross-country skiing or, other things, hut-to-hut trips, just a bit more comfortable. And snow is hard pack usually, and especially in the morning.
Okay, good. Thanks. Let me know. Sure. I'll keep an eye on to this.
Hi, Rafik. Could you turn off your microphone? Okay, never mind. Here's what we do as a company and as a team. So it's kind of the concept. I'm not going to go into it too much, but just for a lot of you wanting to do the Arctic Challenge, I just wanted to let the others and that we also do many other kinds of things, like a lot of like custom holidays, big anniversaries, or birthdays, and reunions of different kinds. But one thing that we always want to do is keep things really authentic and show what the locals do and what we're like, rather than making something up. So we can be staying in somewhere really luxurious or modern too, but the essence in Finland is the outdoors and the nature and the space. That's like the luxury we have, rather than something that's man-made. Okay, I think my screen oh, there we go. Okay. Roberta, would you like to cover these activities? You know them so well.
Yes. So then we begin with snowshoeing. Maybe I will mute my video as well. So in general, you have the choice between a longer stage and a shorter stage for each activity. So we go out for each activity, we start all together, and then during the course, one can decide if he shifts to the shorter one or stays with the longer one. You will always have guides with you, and we will have small groups of normally 4 or 5 people following the guide. We will also show you how to handle with the with the snowshoes, with the bike, the skis, and so on. And well, I can't remember, Rita, how far it is with snowshoeing, but I think the activities are all between 3 and 5 hours.
Yeah, I'll actually show a bit later the
Okay.
details. So yeah.
Okay, so snowshoeing, the last year we had some climbs, but it's not terrible. You can manage it. Fat biking, we are on a prepared course, so we have a guide with a sledge who is preparing the course, and in the middle of the course, usually we have a break for lunch in a very nice hut. Then cross-country skiing, I think it's not part of the challenge, Rita, or it's new?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, these are in general.
Okay, yeah. Then hiking, trail running, it's a half marathon. You see the course, it's partly on an open land and partly on a road with no traffic. And here you can choose as well if you shorten the course or if you do all the 21 kilometers. We will have here as well a break in a tent with a fire where you can eat your hot meal. Then backcountry skiing, me coming from Switzerland, from the Alps, it was new. It's a sport well known in Scandinavia and Finland. And it's a sort of ski mountaineering with with a sort of cross-country ski. Yes, it's a little bit. You have to get used to it. Let's say, but we all had great fun in discovering this sport. And it's mostly flat. We have just small hills, so you don't have to be able to manage cross-country skiing or even alpine skiing. That's it. Yes, we are in the national park, so with beautiful views. You see here the pictures. It's amazing, and I enjoy it every time I'm there. Yes,
Sure
then
about this one.
I heard before some people are excited to discover the huskies, the dog sledding. It's very exciting. We are in a group with guides, and we are two people on each sledge. One just sitting and enjoying the panorama and taking pictures, and the other one so guiding the sledge. And then at half time we switch, so the one who was sitting will stay, and the other one will enjoy the views. I think that's all for the challenge. Oh no, sauna and ice dips, of course, everyday sauna, and ice dips once, and the other days snow dips. So we can jump in deep slow to cool down.
Thank you.
And
And then the rest are just activities that are sort of available, and depending on what we package, what kind of groups we have, just what you can sort of expect to do in Lapland. But yeah, thank you, Roberto. Let's see if here we go. So wanted to cover a little bit about the accommodations. So on your right side, you can see the comfort luxury that we have available. And actually, in the Arctic Challenge, we'll be staying at a hotel, which is really nice in the beginning of the event, and then another really nice hotel in Levi at the end. But then the 4 nights in between, you'll be staying in these historical lumberjack cabins, which is on your top left. You see a photo of one of them, a really nice place. But we have all kinds of accommodation available. So the picture with the Northern Lights is then again a wilderness cabin that those are located along the national park trails, and where we go pulling the sleigh in some of those ski treks that we do, or snowshoe treks. These are the kind of places where we may be staying. And then again on the bottom, you'll see a picture of a bedroom with bunk beds from a lumberjack cabin. And there's Anna, a last year's participant. She was really she liked setting up the fireplaces, and so she took part in keeping the cabins warm as well. So yeah, we got all sorts, from like luxury to the authentic ones. But the reason why I often like to bring the lumberjack experiences into these holidays, but also the Arctic Challenge, is that they really are like dating back to 100 years plus in the history of the lumberjack cabins. And during the event, you'll sleep in these, you will live the similar kind of life that they did for a little while. Eating from the same kitchen, and yeah, going to the same saunas as well. So it's quite authentic in that sense. And the food is really good in Lapland. It's locally sourced, really clean, and usually people don't expect it to be so nice. So I'm hoping that you'll be surprised as well. Have you got questions at this point before we talk about the layers? If not, we can leave them to the end. So then we'll have another call where we go in deeper into this topic. But just for now, just to scratch this briefly. So we always provide information before your travels, and I like the fact that you're starting to learn already before you come to Finland. And we typically send clothing lists and gear lists, which many of you have already seen, and like a packing list of what you typically carry in your day bag, and then versus your what you will be wearing. But everyone's individual and everyone's warm in a different way. We all have different circulation, so we can only give you some guidance, and then really not to worry. Once you've experienced one day, no matter what event you're on, you learn, and then you can kind of start adjusting. So that's like learning about the Arctic and how you are in that is also a really nice learning experience. But we swear on layers, so that means most people basically they show up like those girls in the middle. They wear too much. You could see them cross-country skiing in those kind of jackets, and then what happens is they get really sweaty, and then they start taking their gloves and hats off, and then they get cold and catch a flu the next day. So that's what we don't want. So typically we have those parkas or buffer jackets in the day back when we're moving, and then as soon as we have a break, that's when you put them on and put extra layers on. And again, when you start moving, you can start with your warm layers, or you can start without, just with mid layers. So typically we have a shell over and maybe just a fleece, and then your sort of underlayers, but not those puffers when we're sort of moving, and because we don't want to get sweaty. So that's the thing in essence. And there's Jason, that picture on the bottom right. He did this Arctic Challenge in 2024, and he's looking pretty frosty. So it may look like he's really cold, but actually he's really warm. Well, both of those men have the same beards. So, and the women will have the same in the eyelashes and hair. So actually it just means that that person's comfortable, like they are getting warm, and that's why the outer layers, the hair gets frosty, but actually from inside they are warm. So that's a healthy looking look. Okay, I just wanted to introduce what we have coming up for the season. So we are launching something for the very first time over Christmas and New Year. We're opening, so one of the lumberjack bases, Peurakaltio, which is the middle one. It's such a lovely place, and I've wanted to do this for a long time. So with the owners, we are opening it for Christmas and New Year, and it's basically available to come within this time. So it's like a pop-up Arctic resort, basically. A little bit more about that I'll show you, and I can share with you more information if you think your friends or family might be interested. The Finland Arctic Challenge, unlike the trailer says, the dates actually could say from 18th to 14th of February. A little bit more about that as well. And then we do these cross-country ski camps and hut-to-hut snowshoe and ski hikes through March and April. We don't really have them available for individuals as such, but these are more for like if you want to come with a small group, we tailor these and organize these. But we also have some of the past participants already. I know they want to come in March, so then if you know anyone who's interested, we can sort of have them join groups as well. And then we do these custom holidays and custom events, so basically anytime really. This is how you'll reach us. So we are, based on the Western Lapland in Finland, and our home airport is called Kittilä, KTT. So if you're arriving from the US or Asia, you would typically connect through Helsinki, the capital of Finland. And Finnair is one airline, but there are others as well. And then the domestic flight from Helsinki to Kittilä is just a little over an hour. And so usually it's pretty swift to come to us. There are, though, some direct flights from the European cities as well, directly to Kittilä. And also there's Rovaniemi, which is the town we have on the Arctic Circle. But if you do want to arrive there, then that means you need to drive or take a bus or something for an extra 2.5 hours to get to us. But there are some more flights to Rovaniemi, so it's just a FYI item. And then you can arrive by train too. So if you got extra time, if you'd like to, you can travel across Finland. So there's a really nice sleeper train. It takes about 12 hours from Helsinki to Kolari. And Kolari is really close to us as well. And there's a bus connection over. Here's a little bit more about the retreat I mentioned. So, yep, we welcome people for 3 nights or for longer, and everything is kind of included. We have Santa Claus there as well and reindeer, and so it's really like Christmas and New Year celebrations together for outdoorsy people. So this is a really cool thing. There's activities every day, but it's not a race. It's not even as challenging as the Arctic Challenge. It's just more to sort of get together. And this is the event that most of you are coming for. And that's last year's group of participants. We are actually staying in that Peurakaltio base here, which I've mentioned. And here's the specs. I know a lot of you have seen this already, and those who've confirmed their places by paying the deposit, you have received the event guide and other information. But just wanted to summarize everything here. A little update to what Roberto was saying about the marathon day is we are making it longer this year, actually. So it's going to be a full marathon and a half marathon, which you can choose to run or hike. It's up to you. And that's the only stage that is going to be timed. So if you'd like to race it, you can. I just thought it adds a little bit of interest because that's the sport that everyone knows how to do. But then the other stages, I think most of you are new to these sports, and also because we have quite a small field, we consider as a challenge as opposed to a race. It is challenging when once you've learned something one day and then the next day we'll throw you to a new thing again. But I think also very enjoyable at the same time. And by the time you're done with a week, you know so many new things. So the purpose is really that you can challenge yourself in the Arctic in a safe way. So we are sort of all around you. There's a lot of information on the event website, so I recommend looking into the photo galleries. There's 2024 and 2025 photos, and they give a really good idea of where we stay and what we do. And then I just wanted to say that if you'd like to arrive earlier or stay later, and you've got time to do it, I recommend. It's a nice thing to do. So in Ulas, where you first arrive, that's where we're staying close to a ski resort, and there's basic services available there. And you can also try the sport beforehand that we'll be doing in the event. There's also ski slopes. You can do snowboarding. There's a few restaurants and pubs there, but it's not a huge place. So a couple of nights extra may be nice, but maybe not 2 weeks. Then if you come to Levi, where we finish, if you want to stay there, when we're there, if you want to stay for a bit of extra, Levi is a bit more lively, but also a bit more commercial place. You have a lot more variety on shops and souvenirs and services around there, and also similar activities as in Ulas. Great. Any questions about this whilst we're looking at this slide?
Rita, I have a question.
Sure.
In the online information